Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are, and welcome to the first International GNN Happiness Must Improve stream. We have been having a seminar all day. Jamie have shown me how much I'm lacking, how much more I should improve. Let's just say I didn't know you could talk that much from that many PowerPoints, but it was very educational. And everyone should join the JNN.
Also, I think your mic is picking up on the camera.
That's probably. Let's see if that's better. Did it switch?
No, I don't. It doesn't sound like it.
It's because there was an update to my Elgato, so of course my Steel Series choose to do something stupid again, because that's another improvement point that will be in next year's PowerPoints.
Yep, it's going on the list.
All of a sudden I can hear you.
What'd you say?
All of a sudden I can hear you, so I'm going to turn you down a bit again.
Okay.
And that's not. I should have stayed in bed.
But this is so much fun, isn't it?
Yes. It's very, very fun, everyone. So fun to be part of the JNN crew.
I'm taking applications, so.
If you're sitting out there and wanting to be a streamer, join Jamie. We have fun. No, we do have fun, Jamie.
There we go. You're back.
Yeah. And
we do
you can hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Then I
So
can
what do you got?
Sorry.
But what do you got today? What did you find today? You didn't even tell me.
I just found a short. No, I didn't do anything. I just picked up something. I think it was Irish who sent me a pro se litigant. It's a bench trial. It's a shorter one. He's not a fan of the popo. But do you know who I'm a fan of?
Who?
Sniper Pew Pew. And Christy. You've been looking for this all morning. Yeah. Well, I was supposed to have gone on earlier, but Jamie had to correct my attitude.
Yeah.
Hey, Dog Daddy. And Marissa, short little stream, you need to see the violars. And my age, we're happy.
Yeah. Did you put horns on me? I didn't even see that. You did.
Hey, Daddy. Hey, Peter. And Irish. Sue. Zach. Boudica. Well, I haven't watched it. I just saw parts of it, just to get an. Nothing really is happening, and nothing really is happening this week so far. And I have I have to do jury duty on Wednesday, and Wednesday at 11 Eastern, I will be on with Megan Fox. So I couldn't really start something up again. Well, that's not nice. Going to bed before I start. You're snuggling in bed with your boy right now. Oh. We had a decent weather today. Hey, Jen. And Jude Curio. Well, again, late adjustments to my attitude had to be implemented. Lefty, It hurts my jaw. Guten Morgen. You'll be back. Yeah.
No, you know I don't shut up.
Hey, Vejnersov. Hvordan går det? Late and sexual ambiguous, leaving you some leeway on the later. Well, thank you so much, Brandon, and thank you for the super chat. Well, you know, what's the name? Lonely Island made a song about it. As long as it's in a three-way, it's okay.
Oh, they also had one that said, I just had smacks.
What?
It's a good one. They have a lot of crazy, great songs.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, I know. Yes. Hi, Oline and Panella. Flash fan. Haven't seen you in a while. Week, maybe. Hi, Maya. 2 Danes. We're more now than the Norwegians and Swedish people. We're almost as many as we have Finlandian people. Talk about Norwegian. Hey, Fedorowski.
Hey, Fed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's every time anything updates on my computer, my Steel Series thinks, oh, he wants to switch to the camera mic because that 360-degree microphone really, really works. Hey, Davans Moore. Welcome. We just started. You're still drunk from St. Paddy's Day. Well, then it's a good day. St. Paddy would have been proud of you. Well, if you can, do it. No, I shouldn't say that.
I saw that.
Oh, you're going to be in a play. What play is it? Do you do any accents? I can teach you.
Oh, yeah, he could be your coach.
Hey, JVH78. When I saw that small picture, I think that's good old JR. Do you know who good old JR is, Jamie?
JR?
Yeah,
No.
that's Jim Ross from the wrestling commentator.
Hmm.
I know you. You know your wrestling.
I'm not. I told you I only had that small span.
Yeah, attention span. I know. I
Yeah.
stream with you a lot.
Stop it.
Look what popped up in my store today.
Y'all. Everybody needs like 70 of those.
Well, no one actually needed, but thank you, Penela, for the idea that I stole. But no, today will only be a short stream. It's a bench trial. It's roughly an hour long, and if I can keep Jamie quiet, it'll only take us 5 to 6 hours. I can keep Jamie quiet. He's Old English. Bradley Yawn is the go-to guy. You have to call up Bradley Yawn. No, I haven't read any papers over the weekend. Yeah, it takes 3 days to from you make it till it shows up in the store. Bradley Yawn speaketh doth old day Englay.
The tallest of tales.
True story. But today This is the state Miller, and it's a felony trial. I don't know much more about it. Well, luckily Irish did, because I think it's good. I believe it's good. Let's see if it's good.
Morning, everyone. You may all be seated.
Just moving the subtitles for Peter.
Please give me one moment to start my video for those online.
Yes. And mother said, "Dear son of mine, where art doth market on thy body doth show us thy abuse by dear Bibi."
Oh,
I'm
BB.
such an idiot.
All right, folks, we are here for the bench trial in the case of State versus Paul J. Miller. This morning's case is regarding the felony, and that's cause number 20D05.
When I heard that, I think maybe Marissa's right. There could be a misdemeanor later in the day. But yeah, he's an active little fella.
2204 F6 500. I'll show that Paul J. Miller appears in person in open court. Mr. Swaby appears in person for the state. And just confirming some prior items that we covered in court. Mr. Miller.
We'll have to wait till they talk about it in court, because I don't know. Nothing, there's no description to it. I think maybe some resisting arrest or something. I only seen a few parts of it.
Miller had indicated on multiple occasions he would like to represent himself, so he is here without counsel. Mr. Miller, are you still wanting to represent yourself?
Correct. Correct.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Just so that you know.
Jamie, which state is this in?
I don't know. Am I supposed to know?
No, but I don't know that accent.
It sounds normal to me, unless I'm missing something.
When he said, "All right," yeah, Mary Hammer is she will be off screen the entire time, I believe.
Sir, I do have Mr. Ethan Legg from the Public Defender's Office in court. He is not your attorney at the moment. You are representing yourself. But if you should ever change your mind during the course of today's proceedings, all you need to do is let me know, and we would be able to have a licensed attorney by your side, okay? Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, excellent. So the way this morning will work is the state has the burden of proof, so it will be able to call its witnesses first.
Right.
The state is able to give.
Is Mary Hammer the person?
No, it's this little guy.
Well, who keeps speaking? It's a woman's voice. Who's he talking
No.
to?
No, it's this little guy.
Are you sure? I swear to God, it was a lady's voice.
It's the Indiana flag.
Okay.
An opening statement before calling witnesses. Mr. Miller, you can also give an opening statement for everybody's knowledge. An opening statement is not an argument or what you would see in a closing argument, but it is more a foreshadowing of what evidence each side expects to be seen at the trial. So with that being said, Mr. Swaby, does the state wish to make an opening statement?
No, your state would leave.
Okay. Mr. Miller, would you like to make an opening statement?
I'm claiming my Fifth Amendment rights not to be put in jeopardy by myself, and I am not pleading not guilty.
No.
There's a
I
question.
plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I'm
Always a smart choice.
How do people think that this works? He's exercising his Fifth Amendment right to not put himself in jeopardy of himself, and he's pleading not guilty. What?
Yeah, we're off to a great start.
Yep.
I just skipped ahead in it. Oh, we're 69 watching right now. Giggity.
Yes, and we have your plea of not guilty noted, and you certainly do have a Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself and to remain silent during these proceedings. That being said, I'll allow Mr. Swaby to call the state's first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. State call is Corey Oswald.
No,
Oswald,
this is
please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
This is something Irish found for me and sent to me. If you find anything funny you think I should stream where there's no other commentary on it, please send it my way. So we have something for these happiness must improve days. Jamie beats me if I don't stream.
Truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may have a seat, and if you would then please state your full legal name and spell it for the record, that would be wonderful.
Yes, sir. My name is Corporal Corey Oswald. It's Coryooswald.
Okay, Mr. Swaby, you may question your witness.
Thank you, Corporal Oswald. Who you work for?
The Elkhart County Sheriff's Office.
How long do you work for the Sheriff's Office?
I'm just going to speed
Approximately
it up
13 years in
because
March, 3 years of corrections, 9 years patrol.
Okay, did you go through training to become a police officer?
Yes, sir, I did.
Just generally speaking, what was that training? Where'd you go? How long was it?
I went to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. At the time, it was 15 weeks long. And then after that, I came back to the agency and did a 3-month-long FTO process.
Okay, what does that TO mean?
15 months to be a cop.
Really?
It takes me 4 years to become a baker.
Mhm.
Do you have to have a high school degree or something before you become a cop?
I mean, I know like people that just go into a academy and it could possibly be that long. You just go through all the training and become a cop.
My first stint at school was 20 weeks. Well, I can bake bread, I can't carry a firearm.
Yeah.
Hey, Julie.
Julie.
Scotland in the house. That's how they speak in Scotland, Jamie. Now Julie's going to beat me. Yeah, 15 weeks of training. High school GED is what I heard. And college. Okay, so it's because I thought if you can just do it in 15 weeks, that's a low bar. I think in Denmark it's a 2-year. You have to have some kind of either a craft profession or gone to the military or finished either high school or business school, and then you have. I think it's 2 years in Denmark. I don't think that'll change much because a mistrial isn't not guilty. No, neither do I.
I'd like her to come chat with us sometime. I guarantee she doesn't, and I bet it's beautiful.
Julie, go into the Discord and talk to Jamie after streams. She likes
Yes.
it. If you and Peter A can show up in there, Jamie's day would be. Who was it you had the other day where you were just oh?
Mass was in there.
Yeah, you can understand him.
I would love Peter A to get on voice chat and say Grant East. That'd be my favorite thing ever.
Funny how my streams gets to be yellow all the time.
Field training officer.
Okay, and what does that entail?
Hands-on experience training. And then if there's any other remedial training that needs to be done, it can be done kind of outside of the hands-on environment.
Okay, so on-the-job training,
Yes, sir.
if you will. What are some of your responsibilities as a police officer of the Sheriff's Office? For you specifically?
For me, I'm an assistant shift commander, so I kind of oversee the shift, kind of help the shift commander with any sort of administrative paperwork. I also manage calls for service and then proactively do patrols looking for active crimes, so forth.
Okay. Sir, I want to take your attention back to April 19th of 2022. So, almost a year and a half ago. At that time, were you working as a sheriff or working as a police officer for the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay, and were you specifically working on that day as a police officer for the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir, I was.
Did you have
Yeah, with his long face, that low camera angle isn't good. The rest of us have it high up to hide how big we are, but this face isn't for low camera.
a chance to go out to an address of 51619 East County Line Road that particular day?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, can you explain why did you go out there that day?
We were given information of an individual by the name of Paul Miller having an active arrest warrant. So we and a couple other individuals had gone out to serve that arrest warrant.
Okay, do you recall
The Murdoch case in Florida, which one was that, Jamie?
Murdoch.
That was
Oh, was
it
it
had
that?
it's
that-
that I got sick watching on those crooked. I just couldn't watch those cameras.
That's the one she's talking about.
Yeah, but didn't he get found guilty? I believe he was found guilty. Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I got physically ill by watching that case.
who else was with you?
It was my Sergeant Leeper and our K9 unit, Sterling.
Okay. Can you, and so ultimately you guys did make it out to that address on East County Line Road?
Yes, sir, we did.
Okay. This particular address, is it located in Elkhart County, state of Indiana?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. So can you explain what happened when you first got there? What did you observe? What happened?
Sure. So my task was the less lethal operator with the pepper ball system. The address that you had mentioned is more of like a red barn style duplex. There's apartments kind of spread throughout the residence. We had parked on an alley and made an approach from the south northbound. We didn't know exactly what apartment we were going to, so we began knocking on an apartment. At that point, I saw a male subject who I was able to identify as Paul Miller walking from the north southbound. He was verbally yelling at our K9 unit,
Okay.
at which point, sorry.
That's okay. I want to stop you there real quick. You're saying a lot. Why did you noted that you were in charge of having a least lethal, I forget how you phrased it, but you had
Less lethal
less lethal kind of operation there. And you said it was a paintball,
pepper ball.
pepper ball.
Yes, sir.
Why did you guys feel the need at that point in time to have that ready in the building?
We had gotten an email from one of our county employees that Mr. Miller had made threats towards that employee.
If they're good, send anything my way. Because some days we have these days where nothing is happening. Something smells like it's overheating. I'm just going to be off camera for a second.
Okay, so it's for safety.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, okay, so you said you noted you observed somebody walking towards you guys?
Yes, he was coming down a dirt road from the north southbound.
Okay. And what happened as this guy approached you?
He was yelling at our K9 officer, at which point I gave verbal commands to Mr. Miller, and he turned his attention to me.
Okay, so this, I want to just make sure we connect the dots here. This male that you said was approaching from the northbound,
Yes, sir. He was
Paul Miller?
he was approached, or he was coming from the north southbound. And
Okay.
I was able to identify him as Paul Miller.
Okay, perfect. And when you say Paul Miller, is Paul Miller in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir, he is.
Can you point to him, identify by something that he's wearing?
He's sitting at the defense table wearing a tan shirt, button-up shirt.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect the in-court identification of the defendant.
The record shall so reflect.
Okay, so Paul Miller's approaching you, he's yelling at Officer Sterling. You then get his attention by,
I gave verbal commands for him to put his hands behind his back, and I had the pepper ball at a low ready.
okay, and can you explain what that means?
I'm not pointing it directly at him, but it's kind of a quick snap that I could be on target if needed.
Okay, so it's out, you're not pointing it at him, it's pointed downward,
At a downward angle, yeah.
at a downward angle, okay. So what happened next?
At that point, Mr. Miller turned his attention towards us. Again, I gave him verbal commands, put his hands behind his back. at which point he complied, but he was still being verbally aggressive towards us.
What do you mean by that?
Yelling, he had made a statement.
Okay. What kind of statement did he make?
He had told us that all law enforcement officers had a death warrant.
Okay. How did you interpret that?
A law enforcement officer having a department issued uniform clearly placed visible patches, and that we all had a death warrant. Anybody who was
I
wearing that.
object to that.
Good news, I'm not having a stroke. My neighbor was burning his weeds. Right here.
Hi, David.
Oh.
On what grounds, Mr. Miller?
It was not said. He's not saying the truth.
Your response, Mr. Swaby?
Your Honor, that's it's a factual dispute. It's an improper objection. That is a factual dispute. If Mr. Miller wants to dispute that and try to impeach the witness, he may do so on cross-examination or through his own testimony.
Based on the grounds stated, I will overrule the objection and I'll allow the answer, and you may continue to testify.
And I also, excuse me, I also have another case, Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. They've been sued on a prior case. So, and you have also.
I
So,
understand. Mr. Miller, those are irrelevant to today's proceedings, so.
just so I wanted to notify it, so you guys have notice of it.
It's always good to tell the judge I sued you. I think it'll win him over. Hey, Erin, welcome. Go do some work, sniper. Pew pew. See you later.
I believe, at least for my part, I responded to that lawsuit you filed against me and answered it, and we're not going to get into that on today's proceedings. Mr. Swaby, you may continue.
Okay. Officer Corporal Oswald, I believe you were answering my last question of, how, if at all, did you interpret that statement by the defendant?
Yes,
Regarding the death
sir. I just felt like he was grouping us all in the statement when he said that we all had a death warrant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so what happened after, so you recall specifically at what point in time he made this statement? So let me backtrack. You asked him, directed him to comply and be put in handcuffs. You said that he did comply and was put in handcuffs.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall at what point, after you put him in handcuffs, was he taken to a patrol vehicle?
He was, yes, sir.
Okay, do you recall whose vehicle?
Sergeant Leapers.
I don't know what is in the pipeline. The next thing I have noted is
We have
I
Karen
think
Reed.
there's a hearing on Friday, maybe, and Karen reads about the motions, or maybe it's the next Thursday. Sarah Boone is supposed to begin in May 15th. No, May 3rd. But I don't know if that'll ever happen. Courtney Clenny, that got delayed again because of the new indictments against her parents and her. So I haven't really. The rest of the month, I have nothing on my channel. Well, as long as it's a little crazy, I'm happy. Dave,
Mhm.
this is a pro se guy who told all the cops there was death warrants against them. And he sued the judge. Chad Daybell. Well, I normally don't do 8-week cases. There's the one with the Microsoft former Microsoft boss, whose wife and maybe hitman. I don't know when that's supposed to come up. That looks interesting as well.
And I think is that the one that has Jose Baez as the lawyer?
No, they settled. No, that was the guy That was the guy, the immigrant who was accused of killing an officer who died of a heart attack.
Yeah, but he also, I think, was doing that, the Microsoft guy too. And I
Yeah.
like him.
Yeah, I was looking at the pre-trial hearings to see, but I don't know when it's coming down. Someone needs to do the Billy Wagner trial, Pinkerton massacre case.
That actually, Dave, got pushed out until 2025. So
Yeah,
that'll be a while.
that ferret face wife get her comeuppance.
Yeah, I think what we have next on the list is really Karen Reed is April if it goes on in April. So
Yeah, it's supposed to start April 16th.
yeah.
Biggest thing with who's recommending this case from now on. This is Iris who recommended it.
Okay. And you recall at what point in time,
Yes.
did he make the statement before he got into the vehicle?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. Do you recall about where at?
I don't recall exactly where. I just know it was as we were walking to the patrol vehicle.
Okay.
Well, it's a high-profile case, so right now everyone is jumping on it because on YouTube you try to get in when there's action. So you'll see a lot of different. And right now there's some. Now the infighting has started, so that's always fun.
And did he ultimately get placed into?
In Denmark we can walk into some of the bunkers. I don't know if do the Norwegian have a submarine? We don't, but I've been to the shipyard where they built them down in France. Today they built cruise liners.
Sergeant Leaper's vehicle.
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. And did you, I guess at this point in time, did you have any other involvement in this case?
No, sir.
We will.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor?
All right. Mr. Miller, you may question Corporal Oswald at this time, but just to be clear, this is only a time to ask questions and not to testify. You would have that opportunity later if you chose to testify. Do you have any questions for Corporal Oswald?
Are you, do you know that you've been sued in a prior case, Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1 in Warsaw, Indiana? Precedent to this, do you know that you've been sued?
No, sir.
Checked on relevant charge.
Okay. Any response to the objection on relevance, Mr. Miller?
Not at the present time.
Okay, then I will sustain the objection. And Corporal Oswald, you do not need to answer that question. Mr. Miller, you may ask another
Long time
question.
no see.
Hi, Josie.
That's all I've got.
Any redirect by the state?
No, Your Honor. State would ask Corporal Oswald.
He forgot to ask him why he lied about that statement about all the police officers having a death warrant.
Sorry.
Oh, just saying something smart, and then you
Well,
left.
see, this is why I'm not allowed to do things. I just hit the wrong button.
Well, you can, if you go to, I believe, Fed, if you're going to Germany at sometimes, I believe there is an old, either it's a remake or it's an old one in Kiel, in the harbor in Kiel. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I believe there's an old U-boat down on the harbor in Kiel. Well, it was just to know he was sued. Well, the case it was tough at sometimes, but I think we made enough fun of it as we could, Jamie.
Yeah, we try.
I don't know if there's body cams in this. There will be a car cam.
Well, to remain in the court, not to be released from the subpoena.
All right. Well, at this time, Corporal Oswald, you may step down from the witness stand, but you're not released from your subpoena. If you'll stick around in the courthouse, we would appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now the state may call its next witness.
State calls Adam Leeper.
All right, Sergeant Leeper, if you please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? You may have a seat, and then if you'd kindly state your full legal name and spell it for the record, that would be great.
My name is Adam Leeper, Adamleeper.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Slater, you may question your witness.
Thank you. Sergeant Leeper, what do you do for a living?
I work for the Elkhart County Sheriff's Office in the patrol division,
How long?
a little over 16 years.
Do you go through training for police officer, sir?
I did.
And what was that training?
It was the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. I went through in 2007, 15-week training course, and then graduated from there. And then I went through the field training program at the Elkhart County Sheriff's Office for 3 months.
Okay. I want to get straight to it, sir. I want to draw your attention back to April 19th of 2000.
This is just a bench trial, so there's no jury. It goes from Oslo, so I've only taken that once back into the. Yeah, I just remember my dad talking about there was one down in Kiel. Well, you have one from the Second World War. I can't say that on YouTube. And I never seen MG without a hat, I think.
Why are you going after 4MG? Whiskey.
2022. On that day, were you working as an officer for the sheriff's office?
I was.
Okay. And did you guys happen to have a call out at 51619 East County Line Road that you would have responded to on that day?
Yes, we responded there to
Hey,
attempt
Lindy.
to serve an arrest warrant for Paul
You were
Miller.
talking about
Paul Miller.
earlier.
Okay. And that address specifically, that property, that located in Elkhart County, state of Indiana?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, and you ultimately did respond to the address physically, like you actually went there?
Yes.
Can you explain to the court initially what happened? What did you observe?
When we arrived at the residence, I was there with Corporal Oswald and Patrolman Sterling. We went up to the address. There's several apartments in the building, and we didn't know for sure which apartment we were going to, so we were going to just honestly start knocking on doors trying to locate Mr. Miller. And then as we were knocking on one of the doors, we saw him walking southbound on a dirt road.
Hey, Lolita Smiles.
Identify him at that
Welcome.
point in time just from visual sight.
Okay. You knew what he looked like before heading in?
Yes.
Okay. Is that because you had looked at a photo of him prepared for the search, serving the warrant, or had you had prior interactions with him?
Both.
Both.
Yes.
Okay. And so you observed, and when you say Paul Miller, is that Paul Miller that you were out there that day with to see in the courtroom?
Yes, he is.
Can you identify him by noting where he's sitting in an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Yes, he's sitting at the defendant's table wearing a tan button-down shirt and blue jeans.
You want to please let the record reflect you for identification of the defendant?
The record shall so reflect.
Sergeant Leeper, can you please explain, so as Paul Miller was approaching, what happened? Can you tell us that?
Sure. As he was approaching, myself and Corporal Oswald approached him. Corporal Oswald had a pepper ball gun out. He began to give him commands to put his hands behind his back, and he cooperated with that, and I put handcuffs on him, got him into custody.
Okay, and you say you took him into custody. What happened after you put him in handcuffs?
Once we put him in handcuffs, he started saying things about how we didn't have a right to do that. I read the arrest warrant to him, letting him know what we were arresting him for. He tried to tell us that wasn't valid, and said that he had a death warrant out on all law enforcement.
Okay, and is that, again, prior to him being placed into, was he being put into your car?
Yes, he's been put in my car.
Okay, he ultimately was placed into your car?
He was.
Okay, and those statements, was that made outside of the vehicle?
Yes.
It was.
Outside the vehicle.
Okay, so although he's making these statements, is he physically cooperating with you?
He was physically cooperating, yes.
Okay, he was just verbally disagreeing with what was going on,
Correct.
and then making that statement about officers having a death warrant.
Correct.
So, did he ultimately get placed into your car?
He did.
Okay. What happened after he was put in your car?
I began transporting him to the Elkhart County Jail for the arrest warrant. And
Okay.
These were-
And is there anything of note that occurred during your transport of the defendant to the Elkhart County Jail?
yes, on the way there, he was saying a lot of things about how we didn't have a right to arrest him. We didn't have a court order for it. Tried to again explain that I had an arrest warrant for him. And he said that it wasn't valid because he had sued the state of Indiana. He sued the judge, Judge Spataro, and that as a result of me taking him into custody unlawfully, he was going to have the United States Air Force kill me.
Oh, God.
Did he say this just once?
No, he said it twice, actually 3 times. Well, he said it 2 times and then confirmed it a 3rd time when I asked him, "Did you just say you're going to have me killed?" He said
Okay.
yes.
And he said yes to that?
He did.
Okay.
Jamie, I have a sneaking suspicion this guy isn't, he's not playing with a full deck of cards.
No, the Air Force. Is that what he said? He's going to have the Air Force assassinate.
No, killed him, not assassinate. Oh, I shouldn't say kill. Unalive.
Good times.
Buenos nachos. That's good nachos in Spanish, Jamie.
I did just make some chicken nachos for lunch.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yummy.
Was it you? No, it was Iris who sent it to me, right? Or was it you? C-Swipe also sends me good clips.
She does.
Always smart statement to make out loud to a policeman. Well, and maybe on camera.
That's a great one.
Oh, you're getting subs again? Well, we're about to beef up our military too, just as sub hunters. Maybe he has too many cards, yeah, or too many chromosomes. When is nachos? Lunch? In my time in the Air Force, I had to man the call-in line these guys had so we could carry out their strikes. Well, at least it's not an empty threat. You didn't say this one, no. So then it was Iris. I have a few snooks out there who sends me good cases. I got a new one.
Do you have, is your vehicle that you transported the defendant in that day, are you aware if it had video that was playing during your transport?
Yes, it had an in-car camera with a front-facing camera as well as a camera in the on Mr. Miller in the back seat.
Okay. Permission to approach, Your Honor.
You may approach.
Sergeant Leeper, a handy with marked States Exhibit 1. Can you tell me what you have in front of you?
Yes, there's a copy of the in-car camera from my car on that day.
Oh,
that
the
event.
judge has to
Okay.
determine that.
Have you had a chance to review that specific disc?
I have,
Was that earlier this morning with myself?
yes.
Is the video that is on there a fair and accurate depiction of how you remember things occurred back on April 19th of 2022?
Yes, it is.
State moved to Interstate 1.
Any objection to the admission of states one into evidence, Mr. Miller?
Everything that I was speaking about that precedent case, I've got a case, Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. All the sheriff deputies have been sued in that case, every one of them, and they are on execution stay. So they're saying I said a death warrant, and I never mentioned anything about a death warrant. There's a court order that says they're on execution stay in that case, and it's a precedent case to this case. So.
And I understand that, sir. Do you have any legal grounds for an objection to the admission of this exhibit
In
into
reality.
evidence?
I don't have anything further to say right now.
Okay. Based on what you did say, I will overrule the objection and I'll allow the State's Exhibit 1 to be admitted into evidence. It is so admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may publish.
that?
I can still.
Can you see that, Mr. Miller?
How come this little court can run this without any problems, but the big cases they never figure out? Well, let's see if he says that. If there's an execution stay or what he does say. I haven't watched it. Diddly-doo.
Will we get a video? Yes.
Got a cow video. Did he say death warrant or execution stay?
Now, for the record, this video is 1 hour and 12 minutes long. The state is not playing the entire length of the video, only a few minutes of it. I will be starting the video at 26 minutes and 10 seconds.
And I told them the last time that
And I'm picking it. Yes.
they jailed me, I was going to the United States Air Forces. I'm going to make them do their jobs. I own them already.
He owns the Air
He-
Force, Jimmy.
Oh, he owns the Air Force, huh?
Shut the fuck up. Don't speak to me dumb like a dumb.
Jamie, this is why I wanted to show you this video, because I can't say it like he said. And I know you don't understand what I'm saying, but please don't speak to me dumb like.
Oh my God.
It's not a her, it's a guy. It's not a lady.
I thought it was a lady too, guys, when he first started talking.
You're so racist.
Fucker that sits there radio waving little girls all day long and looks at them. I know what you fuckers do. You're evil. I'm going to make them do their jobs. I own them already.
You own the airport?
Shut the fuck up. Don't speak to me dumb like a dumb fucker that sits there radio waving little girls all day long and looks at them. I know what you fuckers do. You're evil.
Valhalla, can you confirm that that's what the Air Force does? Sit there and look at radio waves of little girls all the time?
Oh my God.
Thank you, Irish.
That was fun.
Yeah, another because he has a Confederate flag, but
Mhm.
it's not a lady. We don't know.
You're not getting away with it anymore. I'm going to deal with the whole state of Indiana just because of you. Get a good look at him, the rest of you in my state of Indiana, because of this fucker here, you're going to be dealt with. You're all going to be on. I'm going to have the whole Air Force of the United States Air Force of the whole world have you killed for attempting murder scheme on me again because of this fucker. So get a good look at him. He's partnering up with the Coons over in my Kosciuszko area.
Oh,
And this is what they do.
oh,
And they sit there and talk like they don't know what's going on because they're mentally ill, messed up in their heads. They sit there and radio wave people all day long, trying to steal from them.
he didn't say
You
that
think
word.
radio waves all it? Let's see if you can get out of them with this. I can tell you're a dunkard. You're related to him. I can tell it in your face. You're evil.
I don't support his use of what I think is a racial slur.
A dunkard? Is that like
No, it was more the word for a shortened down word, raccoon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the United States Air Force of the whole world.
Yeah.
I didn't Irish. Next time, please find someone who's not using full-on racial slurs. Well, I'm not going to play that again because I didn't know it came in there. Yeah, I like raccoons too, but
Oh boy.
I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Sergeant Leeper, was this one of
Fair
those
use.
times that you mentioned that he stated that he was going to kill you?
Yes, it was the first time.
Like I say, I've got a court order on it. The whole Elkhart Sheriff Department deputies, every one of them have been sued in that case.
Mr. Miller, I'm going to stop you there. Do you have an objection to any question that's been asked?
Not right now, but I just wanted that to be stated.
Okay, I have heard you, but you cannot interject irrelevant items into this trial. So, Mr. Swaby, you may ask your next question.
Thank you. And for the record, the video was stopped at 27 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm going to restart the video at 34 minutes and 30 seconds.
You're an evil fucking church guy hiding behind the Bible. Check his head out, guys.
You know, if you can't afford it, they're going to be appointed for you.
I don't need one because you have no case against me.
Sergeant Leeper, I started to play this here. Sounds like are you trying to read him something? Or
I'm trying to advise him of his Miranda rights, yes.
okay.
It's a guy.
And obviously we're still in the vehicle.
And hey, Jim.
Okay.
How do you like that? You gotta have a case first, bitch.
You know, if you answer questions without lawyer presence, you still have the right to stop answering anytime.
I own it. Every one of my papers, and they're there. I have the prior court judgment. It's valid. You don't.
I'm just trying to make sure you understand.
Shut up.
Do you understand it?
You shut the fuck up, bitch.
I'm just trying to ask you a question.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're mentally messed up in the head. Planting radio waves on my people, and I'm tired of it. I'm gonna have the Air Force deal with you.
What are they going to do?
They're gonna come get you and have you killed.
What is with the Air Force?
Because they don't use radio waves on people, Jamie.
Yeah, but
This is a serious thing. He's beginning to make sense to me.
No. Oh boy.
Well, you're going to find out. The whole state of Indiana is going to find out. Is it close to you, Indiana?
Yeah, it's right under me.
Okay, kitty. You might you might need to shut the windows.
Yeah.
There could be some fallout debris.
Son of a biscuit.
Now, he knows everything about how they use the radio waves.
Any murder scheme on me. I got a case that says no one can do what you're doing to me right now. You're imprisoning me.
Are you threatening to have me
It's not a threat, and I've got a court order on you.
So you're going to have me killed?
Yes, by the United States Air Force. I'm going to show everybody what you did to me.
Remember, he never said he wanted them unalived.
No.
Hey, Wicked Psych. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Wicked.
Yeah. Make mental hospitals great again.
Oh, you just got yourself another charge.
What you got, bitch?
Intimidation on an officer.
You have no case against me.
You just said you're going to have me killed.
You got to have a case first.
You just said you're going to have me killed.
The court's going to kill you. I'm going to have the United States Air Force go after you and kill you for attempting murder scheme on me in front of the whole world. It's not, and they all know it.
Everyone knows it.
So
And I'm going to tell them when I get it.
the Air Force, though, guys.
The court and the U.S. Air Force is gonna get them.
They're
I'm
really,
I'm
whoever
swaying guilty.
whoever this is, he is so important that the whole Air Force is like, not on my watch. I am taking these cops down.
Yeah, but he never said that, Jamie. Remember that.
Sure.
Oh.
You know, notice that I said United States Air Force.
Mr. Miller, it's not time for you to talk.
For the record, the video was stopped at 36 minutes and 20 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Spear.
Sergeant Leeper, what ultimately happened? Was this the second time that he made those threats to you?
Yes.
Okay. And earlier you testified that you had asked him basically to confirm that he had said what he did say, that he had intent of having you killed, and we heard him in that state, yes, is that right?
Yes.
It was in that part of the video that we heard that conversation?
Correct.
Was he ultimately taken to the jail?
He was.
And is there any further incident as it relates to this case that happened that day?
No.
And we really need some of those.
During your transport of the defendant, when these threats were made to you, were you in Elkhart County, state of Indiana, at those particular times?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor. Stay past the witness.
Mr. Miller, you may ask questions of Sergeant Leeper at this time.
Are you aware of it that you've been sued by me on a prior case, Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana?
No.
I would again object to relevance, Your Honor.
Because it's the same or similar question, I'll just simply sustain the objection at this time. You may ask another question, Mr. Miller.
That's all I got.
Any redirect of Sergeant Leeper?
No, Your Honor. Just ask permission to tender stage 1 to the court.
You may tender it.
It's a man. Tickets.
Thank
I
you very
love
much.
that every question is, you know you're being sued?
And stay past the witness.
Okay. We already had a cross-exam from Mr. Miller. If there's no redirect, I'm guessing you'd like
Yes.
Sergeant Leeper to remain in the courtroom
I
or
would,
whatever.
Your Honor.
All right, so Sergeant Leeper, at this time, you may step down from the witness chair, but simply remain in the courtroom or the courthouse in case you recall. Okay, thank you. Does the state have any other witnesses it wishes to call?
Stay rest, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Miller, I want to remind you again of your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You do not need to testify. You do not need to take a stand. But if you do have any witnesses that you'd like to call, please, including yourself, please let the court know at this time.
I don't.
Okay, does the defense rest? Is there any evidence that you would like to put on through the form of any witness, whether that be yourself or someone else?
The evidence I've got is that court order, Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana.
Let me
I did
stop you there,
not.
sir. If you would like to testify, I will swear you in and I'll have you take the stand, and you can ask yourself questions or simply testify in a narrative form, but then you would open yourself up to cross-examination by the state afterwards. So do you wish to testify or do you not wish to take the stand at this time?
I don't wish to testify.
Okay, do you have any other witnesses that you'd like to testify on your behalf?
No.
Okay, then I will assume the defense rests at this time. And at this point in time, it is time for closing arguments. So Mr. Swaby, the state would go first and you may have rebuttal time at the end.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just our burden here today is beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a criminal case, Your Honor, as you're well aware. And specifically, we must prove the elements of intimidation that were charged here, specifically that the defendant made an unlawful threat to injure, specifically in this case, to kill or have murdered Sergeant Adam Weaver. With intent that Sergeant Weaver be placed in fear that the threat would be carried out. there's two parts of that. One, that a threat is made, and two, that we're able to show that there's intent, that he meant it. That he meant for Adam Cleaver to think that it was true. And so the state has met its burden here. There's no evidence to the contrary. And what do we have here? We have Paul Miller, who gets arrested on an arrest warrant by two local sheriff officers, both testified before you here today. As he's getting to the vehicle, he's verbally aggressive. He's telling the officers that all officers, including themselves, have death warrants out for them. Maybe a general type of threat, but arguably a threat none the least. At that point in time, officers aren't arresting him on that, but they proceed to take him in on the arrest warrant, specifically Sergeant Lieber. And we heard testimony today, and we saw video confirming the same, the two different threats that Paul Miller made to Sergeant Miller, which was to have him killed, that he was going to have.
I object to that.
On what grounds, Mr. Miller?
I've got a court order. These guys have been sued. They're sued at the Elkhart Sheriff Department.
Mr. Miller, I'm going to stop you. When I ask on what grounds, I expect you to say something like hearsay, lack of foundation, prejudice, something, some legal grounds. Do you have any legal grounds?
Okay, that would be, that there would actually be,
What?
hearsay on his part because
He what?
he's defending them and him as a public prosecutor.
No.
He's
No.
speaking for them, and that sounds like it would be hearsay on his part.
Okay.
No.
I will overrule the objection. The state is allowed to characterize the evidence that already came in during the direct examination.
Josie, I think someone put radio waves on him,
Yeah.
and
You
that's
thought
why he sounds a little bit confused. A little bit confused.
He thought the Air Force was going to swoop in and help him.
Yeah. Jack, I've seen that show. They were Navy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good show. I don't know if the judge knows, but the judge is sued as well.
He didn't mention that enough. I think if he mentions it a little bit more, it might get the case thrown out.
Scott, you don't know how much pull this guy have.
He's going to get the whole Air Force in.
MG Law, this is a pro se who knows, he knows stuff. He did use the raccoon word. I wasn't prepared for beeping that one out. But he knows how cops work. Oh no, he doesn't go sub-sit. He used the court system.
Mm-hmm.
Iris sends them to me. He was YouTube directly into the brain. Yeah, and I just got 5G today, so ooh. Do all of the Jack officers also have that female lawyer with the short hair? I'm just saying, teenage me really liked that show, especially the one where she's on the beach. That one.
You just like lusting after Jag. That just makes me laugh.
Well, she was a pretty lady. She still is.
I don't remember that. I just know my grandma watched that show. I never watched it.
Me and Whiskey remembers.
Okay.
Well, I used to be married to one of those, so.
So you may continue, Mr. Sir.
Thank you. We heard Sergeant Leeper mention he testified to both of the threats that were made and the confirmation that Paul Miller, yes, he was going to have Sergeant Leeper killed. We also saw it on the video. And The hardest
He's been
part in these types of
multitasking,
cases
maybe.
generally isn't proving that a threat was stated, but it's the intent portion of this.
I
Whenever
object to
truly,
that.
On what grounds, Mr. Miller?
I got a court order with these guys and I'm not.
Sir, I'm asking for what grounds? I don't want to hear about this other
Okay, the
court order.
grounds would be,
What?
on information. That information is that court order says they're on execution stay, so I'm not making a threat to them. So, on the grounds of information, I've got a court order attached to them. They're in contempt of court and it's attached to you too. And you've defaulted and now you've got me in here doing this to me. And that's
Any specific grounds related to the last statement made by Mr. Swaby?
the information of another case and precedent case. That's the information.
Objection. Clearly, evidence hasn't been provided of that. I'll play back the tapes. It was Whiskey who said that. I said I have never seen MG without a hat.
I feel like he's been around once like that, and it looked fine. So I don't know, everybody's hating, being haters.
Mr. Meathook, I sadly can't do that. That would be racial inappropriate. Yeah, I think they are sending the airwaves right into his brain right now, helping him out. Well, the judge has mentioned it, that he could get one. I think it's lawful law. Well, it's not lawful because the judge is in default.
Information.
Your objection is overruled. You may continue, Mr. Swaby.
thank you. The hardest part the state generally struggles with in a case like this is proving the intent. It's hard to unscrew somebody's head and know what they meant, what they were thinking when they made particular statements. So we looked at what was going on, how they were acting, their physical characteristics, their mannerisms, the situation. It's very clear here. This wasn't a joke. He wasn't joking. This wasn't a, haha, I'm going to have you killed, Officer Leeper. You're being mean to me. He meant it. Fortunately, it hasn't happened yet. Sergeant Leeper's still here. There's no doubt. It's very clear from the video. He said it in an angry manner. His voice, his tone. The state's met its elements here today, met its burden of beyond a reasonable doubt.
Threats against police officers.
Specifically, that Paul Miller did make a threat on April 19, 2022 to Sergeant Leeper to unlawfully kill him with the intent that Sergeant Leeper believed it to be true. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Miller, you may make your closing argument.
My closing argument is I never made a threat to kill him myself and execute him myself. I have a court order. He's been sued on a prior case. It's Paul Miller versus Kaskaskia Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. I've got a court order on him. He's on death row stay, and
He's on death row stay, Jamie.
But
Did you know this
Right.
defendant has a prior case pending?
Yeah.
Costco versus State of Indiana.
But I like that he says that he wasn't going to do it because he threatened to get the Air Force involved. So because he didn't say he was going to do it himself, that's okay.
Yeah.
He's got a
I don't
good case.
know. Yeah, so far I'm pretty sure he's innocent.
Yeah.
I don't know what death row stay is. And I don't know what it has to do with anything here. I'm not sure the defendant does either.
it's he's on execution stay according to that court order, and I'm not doing it. I'm going to have the Air Force done do it. And on the court order, it even states all the departments, the law departments that are liable to do the work. On that court order, it's a court order judgment ex parte notice crime. So that information there proves is the evidence that I have. That evidence itself proves that everything they're doing here today is a lie, it's perjury, according to that court order. So it's court order judgment ex parte notice crime. So you can look at that court order and you can, Leaper, I know he's been sued. The other guy, he's been sued just as Elkhart Oswald. He might have been sued also, but I know he's stated on a default as a Elkhart Sheriff Department deputy. But I know Leaper's been sued. So for him to sit here and say that I'm gonna kill him is perjury. I've got a court order on him. He's on execution stay. You can look at that court order. You can look at the default in that case and you'll see his name there.
Well,
And it's prior continued.
Do you know what execution stay means, sir? Does
Well,
it mean that
he has a court order, MG. He clearly knows how it is.
and he was on
Execution stay.
saying he was getting the Air Force to take care of business.
Yeah. And he knows what the police do, looking at ladies and sending those brainwaves.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he should.
Continuing to this. And Oswald, he's been sued also, and that would be prior also. It's he's been sued as an Elkhart Sheriff Department deputy. They all of them have been named. So that's where I'm at on that. It's on that information. I never said that I've got a death warrant on him because I don't have a death warrant. I've got a court order on both of these gentlemen in here. And
Jamie, we just watched the tape. Did he say death or did he say death not?
He said, I'm going to have the Air Force get you SOBs.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Well, the state of Indiana hasn't showed up to the court, so that's the first problem with this case. I think he's innocent.
Yeah.
And again, using the Air Force, come on. They couldn't hit a barn.
they came out there and arrested me with a false warrant that there's a case right declaration in that same case showing that warrant.
I'd object to irrelevance, Your Honor.
Showing that warrant has been.
I'll overrule the objection. I'll allow it. You may continue, Mr. Miller.
Showing that warrant they brought out to arrest me with was a bad warrant because according to that prior court order, no other paper can be on me. So with that information, there it is. It's proof. There's live perjury here today. They're saying I made a death threat to them. I'm not making a death threat. I got a court order on both of these gentlemen. They are on execution stay. And I've got it on you also, Mr. Spatero. You defaulted. You can look at that case. No time did any of you answer. So you got me in here, all three of you have me in here saying I'm wanting to kill you. I'm not wanting to kill you. You're on execution stay according to the court order. And it's at Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. Now, by that information alone is the proof as evidence that you're on execution stay. That court order shows it. And I'm not doing it. I'm going to have the Air Force do it. I used the law and I sued each one of you. And your name.
MG, is it a good idea to, when you are brought up on charges for unaliving threats, to repeat the same threats in front of a judge? And normally I don't do true crime if there's nothing in it or something where but I'll look into it now. I'm going to Tennessee meet Hook. Thank you. It's a good tip. Yeah.
He really does, though. I mean, it's laughable, but at the same time, they should have been like, this guy, just let him talk.
Yeah, I don't know what I think an execution stay is something other than he believes.
I don't think he thinks it means what he thinks it means. Because he keeps saying, I have an execution stay, so I'm not threatening anyone. I don't think you think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, because you can get a stay of execution. That's when you suspend an execution. But I don't know what execution stay is, and I can't find it anywhere on Google. So,
MG, what is it? Do you know?
yeah, MG, what's the stay of execution? And which airwaves are they shooting into our brain? Do you have the documents, Jamie?
I bet Christine could get them for us. She's really good at getting documents.
Have you looked at that default with your name on it?
At this point, Mr. Miller, I'm going to redirect you to only characterize evidence that came in during this trial.
Okay, so that being said, I've got a court order here, prior court order, you got me in here, and according to that court order, there's stop stay, and you also are. So it is what it is. I've got a court order, you got me in here because they're in my,
maybe it's a suspended judgment or
I think something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, stay of execution. No, because he says execution stay. So I don't know. But yeah, we're laughing at him, but in reality, he should be heavily medicated and getting therapy.
I own the Elkhart Sheriff Department building. They took me into the Elkhart Sheriff Department. I own the Elkhart Sheriff Department building. They took me into the Elkhart Sheriff Department building.
He owns the police department, the police station.
Outlaw proceeding. They're in contempt of court. And with that information of that prior court order, it's perjury what you're doing to me here today. I've got Leeper and Oswald. I know Leeper's been named, but Oswald, he's probably been named too. But I know I had a default where they were known as Elkhart Sheriff Department deputies, each one of them.
Let me redirect you, Mr. Miller. I'm not going to give you unlimited time on your closing argument. Is there anything that you want to say about the evidence that came in during today's trial?
Okay, my evidence is my court order,
That was not admitted into evidence today, and the trial is over.
Okay, well, I don't need to use it as evidence to admit it into as evidence. It is evidence, so
it was not admitted into evidence in today's trial, Mr. Miller. I'm going to give you one more warning. You've got 2 minutes left maximum. Do you want to say anything about the evidence that came in during today's trial?
I'm just using that evidence I'm using that evidence as information for what's going on here today. I don't have to put it in as evidence. I'm using it as evidence. So according to the...
Is that lawful law, not putting evidence in and then using it as evidence?
If it's not in evidence.
He's using it as evidence, so it is evidence. No. I'm not even sure. Did MT go to law school?
I heard he did.
Yeah, but have you seen proof of it? because he clearly don't understand the law. I'm thinking this guy is winning this case.
I hope so. I want to see one pro se just really knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I actually don't think this flag has fringe. Yeah, they're railroading him just because they want to pesky things like evidence. Yeah, what's this about?
Whoever's recording things right now, write it down.
It's a
I've got
bench trial,
court
so it's
order,
only the
Paul Miller
judge.
versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. It's known as Court Judgment Ex Parte Notice Crime. It's a court order saying that these guys have defaulted. They're stop stay. They're on execution stay. Spatero, Oswald, and Leeper, all three of them. And that's the evidence I'm using. So that's all I got. And according to what they're doing to me today, that's perjury because they have no valid court order on me right now. I've got a court order on them already. So right now they've got me in here without a court order, trying to say I'm wanting to kill them.
You've got 30 seconds left, Mr. Miller.
I noticed I said killed. I didn't say murder. So according to that prior court order, they're on execution stay. So that.
Yeah, words matter,
There's
Jamie.
a big difference.
Yeah.
Kill and murder. Like, come on, guy.
It's a bench trial, so it's only the judge who has to make a decision. And as you can see in the bar down here, it won't take long. Yeah, so it totally doesn't. No, it's not right.
Just for the record, let that be known. Information that court order, judgment ex parte notice crime states them on execution stay. They're stop stay. They defaulted in a prior case. And it's known as Paul Miller versus Kosciuszko Board of Zoning Appeals, Superior Court 1, Warsaw, Indiana. That's all I've got.
All right, Mr. Swaby, the state may make rebuttal. I might suggest during rebuttal if you could respond to Mr. Miller's statements that he didn't say he was going to kill, but that the Air Force was going to kill the law.
Sure.
Just looks like he's about to laugh.
That is true. That's what the evidence presented. However, under intimidation.
Well, they don't need a court order. No. And he made the threats. He was arrested in some other matter, and then he made the threats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clearly the raccoons and the radio waves are being railroaded in this case.
Oh boy.
Intimidation doesn't require that. I mean, by the plain words of the statute, it doesn't require that the threat that is made is going to be carried out by himself. Right, so he's charged under section A4. Person communicates a threat with intent that another person be placed in fear that the threat will be carried out. That's the initial part of this charge. He did communicate a threat, we heard it, that he was going to have the Air Force kill Sergeant Leeper multiple times.
I object to that. It's a valid court order. They defaulted. This guy here,
He is,
Sir, your objection is overruled.
he's committing perjury right now.
Please allow Mr. Swaby to speak.
this is a threat, if you look on page
Is that legal
238
in
of the book,
Indiana?
is defined as an expression by words or actions
I don't know.
or an intention to specifically, in this case, one, unlawfully injure the person threatened or another person.
Uh-oh.
And I'm back.
Specific requirement here that It's just that a threat was made, an unlawful threat to injure was made. The officers were carrying out their duties. They had an arrest warrant. They were carrying out their own duties, and he made a threat to have them unlawfully injured, specifically killed, specifically Sergeant Weaver.
I bet the judge is just reading what's in the law, what it says.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for spending it with us, Stephen. We won't be going an hour further. We are having the first yearly Happiness Must Improve at the JNN Network Day. No, I don't smell it. My internet dipped.
So the state has met its burden here today, and that's the court to hold them accountable. Thank you.
Okay, folks, based on the testimony that I heard today, my review of the statute, considering all the evidence, I find Mr. Paul J. Miller guilty of count 1 intimidation, threat to commit a forcible felony, level 6 felony under 35-45-2-1A4. I understand that we have another trial set for this afternoon at 1 o'clock. My suggestion is that we hold off on sentencing at least until after that second trial, if not for another day, to order a records check. I'll ask both sides, but let me start with the state, at least as it pertains to this level 6 felony case. Does the state wish for a records check or PSI to be ordered before sentencing?
I think it would be smart, since sentencing is going to be up to the judge, up to your honor.
All right, and Mr. Miller, would you like for a pre-sentence investigation or records check to be ordered before I issue a sentence, at least on this level 6 felony from this morning?
Say that again.
So I have found you guilty, and now the court is in charge of imposing a sentence. Typically, the court will consider aggravating and mitigating circumstances and deciding whether to give a more harsh or more lenient sentence. So typically, we will order either a pre-sentence investigation or a records check before having a sentencing hearing.
You could do the sentencing. That'd be fine if you want to do it.
You're in favor of me doing the sentencing today?
That'd be fine.
Okay, well, I have the state requesting or suggesting it would be beneficial. I have the defendant indicating that he does not have an objection to doing it today. I think it would be wise for me to order at a minimum a records check. And if the PSI is not waived for this felony, I should order the pre-sentence investigation. So what I'm going to do at this time, Mr. Miller, is order a pre-sentence investigation and order you to cooperate with Elkhart County Probation to gather information that I can use in sentencing you. And I'm going to schedule your sentencing hearing, at least on this matter, for a later date that you have the right to have that sentencing hearing be within 30 days. Since you're out of custody, you also have the right to waive that and come back later than 30 days from now. Do you have any objection if I were to go out 5 or 6 weeks by chance? To come back for sentencing in November, mid-November sometime?
That would be fine.
It's fine, okay, then let me find a date here.
And put the other one in there at the same time.
Well, we'll see what happens. I haven't, the state hasn't met its burden of proof yet for the other case. We'll talk about that this afternoon. But looking at my calendar, I could go out to November 13th. That is a Monday. And Mr. Miller, would you prefer 10 in the morning or 2:30 in the afternoon?
I'd like to put both cases together again.
Okay, and if you're found guilty in the second case, I would do that. Do you prefer morning hearings in general or afternoon hearings?
Mornings.
Morning. Let's go with 10 a.m. on Monday,
there
November 13th for sentencing. And we'll specifically show that defendant waives sentencing within 30 days. He's out of custody. He has no objection. We will order the pre-sentence investigation, so probation should be notified. Mr. Miller, you should contact Elkhart County Probation. I can give you a slip of paper with the phone number on it, and then cooperate. They're going to need to ask you questions and put together information for me to consider before I sentence you. And do I have Karen there? Can you confirm, do we have one of those half-page slip of papers that has the probation's phone number? We usually, I think there's one on Mr. Swaby's desk. And probation's number, Mr. Miller?
I don't know.
Okay. and you're ordered to contact probation to give them the information they request to put together that pre-sentence investigation. And probation's number is the third one down, 574-523-2203. You can also go down in person, speak with probation in this very building. And I'm not sure, I know I have several law enforcement, several security officers from the sheriff's department right here. If you would like to utilize your time efficiently, we don't have the misdemeanor trial until this afternoon at 1 p.m. If you'd like to go with the officers to make an initial contact with probation, you may do that today in the spare time in the middle, but at a minimum, in the next 48 hours, you need to call probation to get the ball rolling on that. Any questions about that, Mr. Miller?
So why do you want me to go to probation?
So the trial that we had this morning is for a felony. And when the court has discretion in deciding an appropriate sentence in a felony case, typically the court will at least ask for a records check and often ask for
Okay, I
a.
don't want a records check though.
Well, but the state has indicated, at least the wording was, it would be advisable or it might be the right move. So I would like one. And quite frankly, since I haven't had a waiver of the pre-sentence investigation from both sides, I would like to
Well,
ask.
I don't agree to it. I object to it. I don't agree to it.
Notwithstanding your objection, which I'll overrule, it is court ordered, and you need to either go in person today, or if you're not comfortable going today, you can call them on the phone, but you're ordered to do that.
Just go in
in the next
person
48
today.
hours. One more time. I can hear you.
Just go in person
You
today.
can, and if any of our security officers would like to escort you down there, you do have almost 3 full hours before the 1 o'clock trial on the misdemeanor. So if you're in the area and want to do that today, by all means, you can do that. And if you do plan to do that, I might suggest that one of our officers escort you there and take care of that today.
So it's something I walk in and I get taken care of that time.
Well, at least to get it started. I'm not sure, Mr. Swaby, if you have any background info on the types of info they gather, but I know it's an interview of the defendant, and I don't know if it's a series of interviews with the defendant or family members of the defendant. I've seen sometimes family member statements, but at a minimum, you can start the ball rolling by going today, and I recommend that. Okay. At this time, folks, I'm going to go off the record. We'll come back for the 1 p.m. trial on the misdemeanor this afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
So, what do you think, Jamie? Was he railroaded?
He was.
He was. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't feel like they proved anything. He only said it 3 times and said it again in court.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like that's allowed.
Listen, he didn't say kill, or he didn't say murder. He said kill. It's a difference. A difference.
It's I think that guy was he was railroaded. He should be let go. So sadly that's yeah, it's fun to watch and we're laughing at him, but why isn't a guy like that heavily medicated?
Yeah, and sometimes they need to just let people yap their stupid jaws.
Yeah. Well, they actually started demanding that police officers took anything in Denmark. In Denmark, that's a 119 or 121. And we had so many cases where it was just, well, he looked at me funny. He said something that, did you ever feel threatened? No, but the law says it's not you who has to feel threatened. It could instill fear in someone.
Mm-hmm.
So we had so many cases coming up about attacks or threats against police officers, prison wardens, and all of this stuff, because it was getting out of hand with all the violence against them. So they started saying, well, we have to crack down really hard on it. So, but in Denmark, we have what's called an 808 investigations in all case. Well, if they comply, where they go over their educational level, prior records, upbringing, drug use, anything of that. So we always have that, at least if they choose to cooperate. And if there's any, the thing I have to do on Wednesday, we actually already ruled on the case, but the sentencing we needed a 808 psych eval. So there's a lot of people out there who do stupid stuff. Yeah, he has to want to take the medication. Yeah, that's the problem when you can't lock them up. So that's a big problem. But Jamie, thank you for spending JNN's first International Happiness Must Improve Day with me.
Of course.
Yeah, it was mandatory for me to be here, but you could choose not to be here.
That's true.
So I'm going to end it now. I will be in voice chat over on Discord a bit later. I'm just going to chuck some food into the oven and make me some dinner. And
Oh yeah.
You are not a nice person.
so everyone, if you're not in voice chat, go out there and have fun. And thank you all so much for showing up today for this short little impromptu stream. That means I don't know. What does that mean, Jamie?
I don't
know. Yeah, that's Jamie's news. What did I call it?
Jamie's News Network.
Yeah, I think I called it something else in the description.
I don't know.
Jamie News Now.
Jamie News. There we go.
It's a joke that Jamie is gonna, well,
rule the world.
She's gonna beat me, but that she do everything. Plans for tomorrow. If I find anything other funny, I don't have a full day planned. Jamie is looking, but I have a deal, not a deal. I have an appointment. I will be on Megan Fox on Wednesday, so my schedule is a little off this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Aiden Kearney will be on Chrissy Mayers. Is it on YouTube or on that other thing she does? I don't know what the other one is. Well, it was more entertaining than informative, I hope, because don't do like this guy. Other than that,
all right.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how well she will. I can't really see her do true crime stuff, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah, go check out Megan Fox. Pernilla, always. We need to laugh. But if nothing else comes up, I have another case, but it's a little bit longer. But I will make lasagna for 2 days today, so I can do a little bit longer tomorrow when Jamie doesn't have me in for improvement therapy.
Mm-hmm. You did well today, though.
Thank you so much, boss. Hasta mañana.
Your Honor, I apologize. What exhibit are you referring to? I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. 100, because it is 100% correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
Want you to see the lawyer's face? Okay, we have to go back and they.
Widower case.
Did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
Wait a minute, I need this story time.
Everybody has.
Everybody has.
Everyone has slept with his mother.
If I showed you.
Oh my God.
I'm having a Jamie moment. And the way he just said it, he was just like, everyone had things on YouTube.
Mr. Randolph, do you?
I got that against the man. You don't know.
Called him chicken shit.
That's right, you was chicken shit.